So for those who do not recognize my voice, my name is Chris Beckford. I am the Acting Vice President and Head of Infrastructure here at SteamX. I would like to personally, as always, thank you guys for joining us on another lovely AMA day. Now, today's discussion will be more or less catered to our phase plan, release plan for 2022 and beyond, and what that means to you. Now, based on the countless hours of deep dives, we're definitely confident that this plan, which we're going to walk through with you today, will allow us to achieve our goals in 2022 and beyond with maximum success. Now, with that being said, I will pass it over to Vera for a brief introduction.
Thank you, Chris. Hey, everyone. Good day. Thank you all for joining. My name is Virab Chopkar, and I am the Head of Marketing and PR at SteamX. We do have a robust AMA laid out for you guys, so please stay tuned. And as always, there will be a question and answer session saved for the end. So please stay tuned for that as well. Or alternatively, you could drop your questions in the chat. And for now, please allow me to pass the mic over to my counterpart, Jamal, for a quick introduction.
Thank you, Viraf. Good morning, guys. From Australia, it's 7 a.m. now. It's good to see big turnout here today. I'm head of marketing as well with along with Viraf, and can't wait to go through all the marketing things with you guys today. We've got some big things to tell everyone about, and yeah, I'm just going to pass it over to Neville.
Thank you, Jamal. Hey, everyone. Thanks for joining the AMA. Neville Debecha here, president of SteamX. I'll kick off the slide deck for you guys, and let's get the show on the road. So first of all, for all the new investors here and people listening in for the first time, what is SteamX? SteamX is an upcoming hybrid digital asset trading ecosystem. The ecosystem includes a decentralized environment comprising of our Rails network proprietary blockchain, Quickswap, a launchpad with an innovation lab, and an NFT gateway. It also encompasses a centralized trading environment that we like to call SteamX Pro. Along with the ecosystem and platform and tools, we are also developing with our partners, University of Waterloo, specifically the Department Stratford School of Interaction Design and Business, and Sheridan College to deliver an AI-driven gamified learning experience revolving digital assets.
Thanks, Seth. Now, I'm going to hop into the swap and quick swap. Now, if you recall, these are two of the three trading options that will be available via SteamX. In preparation for our mainnet migration to SteamX Rails network, we are definitely pleased to announce that we will be opening our testnet for the swap and quick swap to the public for more or less functionality and user acceptance testing. This testing will be more or less a two-pronged approach, and I'll be able to explain that a little bit more better in detail later on once we talk about the release of the testnet native coin to go with it. Now, as part of this initiative, what we will be doing is issuing a more of an open bounty to the public, whereby users will be able to sign up and come in from a testing perspective, and will be rewarded accordingly for identified and reporting bugs. We felt that this was a very fun and interactive engagement for our trusted community to further assist in pressure testing what's been developed so far. Now, again, the quick swap portion is the the decentralized portion where you bring your own wallet, more or less your favorite wallets via Wallet Connect, connecting to our platform and go ahead and about your day, doing your day-to-day trading. And our swap is our proprietary trustless function, whereby you don't need to connect your wallet at all, right? So in that feature, you're specifying what you're trading, what you wish to receive, and then you send over those particular tokens accordingly to the generated wallet via the tool, and then likewise you'll receive back the traded tokens to the wallet where the funds initially came from. So we'll tap into that a little bit more in the slide in terms of how the native coin plays into this here. But for the essential release here for the August 1st, what we're going to be doing is releasing the swap and quick swap from a testnet perspective, and again, more focus on end user testing and the functionality overall for the look and feel of these applications.
So for release number 2, we have our SteamX Rails network. So we've talked about the Rails network a lot. We've showed you some of the functionality. We advise that the environments that we currently have are our development environment, production environment, so essentially testnet, mainnet, and devnet. So testnet being live, For a while now, there's a lot of data on testnet from testing in the early stages. So what we're going to be doing on August 15th is reinitializing testnet to block 1. What this will allow us to do is purge all that data from testing and allow to lay the groundwork for what's coming up next as far as the beta and the testing goes.
All right, I got ahead of myself. My bad. Okay, so looking at the native coin here, again, from a testnet perspective, right? Now, what we're going to be doing is while we're doing the testnet migration, and that's currently ongoing, every holder will essentially receive their respective testnet allocation to use during the beta stage, right? Now, this includes interacting with the swap, Quickswap, and Launchpad and Innovation Lab. Now, the goal here will be to deploy these allocations by way of our Launchpad claim functionality, right? We'll have that in place whereby users can go to the Launchpad and there will be a claim area and you can go ahead and claim your testnet token, testnet coins. Now, however, should this not align accordingly, then we've also built in a contingency whereby we have the ability to leverage more of an airdrop process to get users their respective tokens, right? Now, what we have outlined here are 2 dates here, with the August the 22nd being the target release date, which is holding pretty strong at this junction. And if that does not hold, then we have the appropriate contingency release date of the 29th. So again, this native coin will allow you at this junction to interact with the Launchpad, and I'll explain that in a little bit as well too. And again, the swap and Quickswap portions of our platform. Okay, now the Launchpad here. So the plan overall here is again for the DApp portion and the smart contracts, we're going to be deploying them and they'll be open for beta testing. Now, what this means to you is that potential project owners or developers, they'll be able to begin applying for Steam Exchange Launch Token to become a verified dev on the Rails network. With this beta release, also what comes with it is that the community members will be able to actively participate in testnet pre-sales with their allocated testnet native coins and ultimately gain the overall experience, right? So it all ties into it, right? Going back to, again, the release for the native coin. Once you do have a native coin, you will be able to, again, interact with the swap and Quickswap. And then also, too, you'll be able to participate in these testnet pre-sale launches, right? This ultimately is going to give everybody the look and feel experience and get an understanding of how it's going to work in mainnet, right? Essentially, what you're playing with today will be that in mainnet, right? And again, as previously mentioned, our goal will be to leverage the same platform where you can come and claim your tokens from the Launchpad / Innovation Lab area for native coins. So right now, the target date for the release is August 22nd, and we wanted to obviously keep that really aligned to the native coin. It only makes sense from a release perspective. That way you can come here to the Launchpad Innovation Lab and claim your tokens accordingly. And that's where you'll notice that the target date and the contingency date are essentially mirrored with the native coin.
So next up on the release list, number 5 is SteamX Pro. This is our centralized ecosystem. We just talked about all of our decentralized functions and the adequate, or I guess, respective release dates for each one of those. So for SteamX Pro, we're going to release as well into testnet. So the target release date for this is September 19th. And during this phase, we're actually going to open up registration to the advanced trading platform and the Steam Exchange ecosystem. Along with that, we're also going to give you the option to opt in for KYC in this stage. Advanced trading is going to be tied to testnet to begin with, and the same things apply, right? So bug bounty, beta testing, you get to use your allocation in this ecosystem for the centralized side, get a look and feel experience for the charting, the tools, the limit orders, market orders, et cetera, et cetera. So advanced trading, though part of our centralized ecosystem, will also be released for beta on September 19th.
All right, so I guess we can talk a little bit here about the bug fixes and audits, right? Now, as always, we want to ensure our users will have the best product available, right? Hence, this is an extremely important area for us as well. it goes without saying that continuous feedback and continuous improvement will always be encouraged, as is pivotal to our downstream success. Like I mentioned earlier, any bugs identified during the beta will be promptly shared with our development team for remediation, right? And again, we want to get the community involved, get everyone's hands on the product, and again, make it fun for everybody while continue to build and grow. Now, as it pertains to the audits, it goes without saying, again, this is another extremely important component, especially from a security perspective, right? Every smart contract and DApp on the Rails network will be brought forward for the appropriate reviews / QA testing and applicable audits. Just to highlight a few of our preferred vendors, you can see below, we have a few in mind in terms of like Certic and Brew Labs. And even as it pertains to the platform, there are some strong considerations for such, but not limited to, like Deloitte or TCS. And it will be noted that this is subject to change, obviously, once we get closer to that junction, that these preferred vendors could definitely change. But for right now, this is kind of what we've been discussing. So another huge area for us.
So next step for us regarding our regulatory journey specific to our centralized exchange. Now, this is one topic that we haven't really spoken too much about. So we did want to take the opportunity to kind of highlight, the process, where we are and what's currently pending. So the actual process in a very, brief format, we need to provide the Ontario Securities Commission a business pro forma. We need to provide them with a financial statement, and we need to provide them with all the results from our audits and also any audits that they request. We also have to work through regulatory guideline satisfaction. So there's a whole list of rules and obligations for us as an ecosystem and as an organization that we have to align with. So what Steam Exchange has completed so far, we have completed our business pro forma, we have completed our financial statement, and we've developed our ecosystem to align with those regulatory guidelines. What's pending and what's coming down the pipe. Of course, through beta, we're going to get through the audit stage. We do know what audits are sought after by the Ontario Securities Commission. So once these audits are completed, a formal application will be submitted to the OSC for approval. And it's in this stage where we find out whether Steam Exchange Inc. falls into one of these categories. Either we're an approved dealer, we're an exempted dealer, or we're on the restricted dealer list, which means we fall into different guidelines, which you can look at on the OSC website and what other restricted dealers are obligated to. So this is kind of our regulatory journey and what's coming up for us. There's a lot going on. Like Chris mentioned, there's so many different moving parts, and the regulatory journey is definitely part of that, right? And this is probably one of the most important pieces for our centralized side. We're definitely aiming to have our application in early October, perhaps end of September, so that way we can get the ball rolling, satisfy any questions that are asked of us, and just overall appease to the regulators. Again, this is going to be a fun journey for sure. We've been told that it's going to be an interesting one, but because we've developed our ecosystem to align with a lot of the guidelines, we definitely feel or have a sense of where we'll land. So we'll touch more on that as we go. For now, we'll leave regulatory journey at that.
All right. So we can hop into our dependencies for go live here. Now, these are three different buckets here. So starting off with the centralized ecosystem, right? I think we already talked a little bit about that already, but upon successful completion of our beta phase, backed with the appropriate bugs and fixes in place, we're now looking at the appropriate QA testing, audits, and regulatory approvals, with the immediate priority for the team in order to put us in a position for go live, right? So that's essentially what we're going to be looking at to be able to consider ourselves ready to go live on the centralized portion. On the decentralized side of the ball, some of the same stuff, but not exactly. But obviously, we're going to be in optimal position for go live once we clear our beta and our bug fixes, followed by the appropriate downstream smart contract audits, as well as the DApp audits as well too, right? And then once we get past that, then you can kind of see, right? We're talking about the Rails network blockchain, the swap and Quickswap functionality, Launchpad Innovation Lab, and the NFT gateway as well too. These are all things that will be able to go live once we do complete those appropriate audits and the bug fixes accordingly. Now, on the AI gamified learning, and I know Neville did touch on this a little earlier, but I'll just like to reiterate some points here, that from a development timeline perspective, we're looking at marching out towards the end of 2023, right? December 2023. Throughout the course of our development phase, we're going to be continuing to release early versions of the educational modules for consumption. That way, our users can begin to learn and start their learning journey. And it should be noted that there are some particular aspects, such as the testing and grading, that won't be available out the gate. And will be available at a later junction. And obviously, this is because they do require some key AI coding. And as we go down the road, we'll bring this information to light more and help you get a better understanding how that kind of ties into everything. But rest assured, our partners and our internal teams have their best foot forwards to ensure we are going to be very successful for the core focus on education. Education will continue to be a key component of our business model because we want to make everybody better holistically, right? The more information you have, the more knowledgeable you are. It will allow you to just become better traders overall and just learn, right? I would like to say, close off by saying that this plan, again, was developed to achieve maximum success. And I want to stress the word on maximum success and help for us to achieve our goals, not for just this year, but 2022 and beyond, right? I think this is very key. We've said, we've always stated that this has never been a 100, 200 meter sprint. As fast as the guy I am, I'm a sprinter, but this is a marathon, right? Let's be real here. This is a marathon, and we're not looking to run for 1 year, 2 year. We're looking to run for years and years to come. So we'd like to personally thank you guys all who have been with us this entire journey and will continue to be with us. And I know that for sure that together we can definitely be the change. So what I'd like to do at this moment, I'll pass it off to Jamal because I know he's been anxious and waiting patiently to give you guys some marketing updates.
Thank you, Chris, and thank you, Neville, for compressing all that information for us. A lot of stuff to go through, but yeah, that was amazingly done. Thank you. Now, everyone's been just really anxious to hear about all our marketing plans and our strategy, especially in this current market that we're all seeing, go up and down every couple of days. But me and Viraf have just done a lot of research. We've had a look at pretty much what everyone's doing, what marketers are out there doing, and everyone seems to be pretty quiet at this time because they're all, scared to do something. But in our perspective, to us, it's those that stand out and show that they're here for the long term, the long haul. They come out strong at the end of especially bear markets like this. We're on the rise now, we'll be on the rise and hopefully rise further as the market goes up. Now, we've put a lot of thought and I've done a ridiculous amount of networking as well to put together something that's going to be a bit new and shocking to the crypto world, stuff that people haven't done. And most, crypto companies don't dwell into certain things that we're going to be going into. Definitely a new era of, teaching mechanisms and hopefully pique interest from a lot of investors and bring on new investors, via real world engagement, which is something that, we've been just really, looking deeply into, achieving. Now, everyone knows we have plans for pop-up locations and physical locations in the future, and we're hoping this is going to be a major stepping stone towards those larger and bigger goals. For the meantime, we are planning to do a large crypto and car community event. So at the moment, we've partnered with the Capello Club in Melbourne. Now, they're a high-end car club, supercars, old school cars, anything you can think of. Very high and wealthy people in that club, and I'm very close with the owner of the club himself. So we're going to be doing a joint sort of supercar event with a crypto component to it as well, where we'll be able to teach people how to invest safely and where they should be investing, of course, with SteamX being the major sponsor of the event, having our own presence there. Now, along with the Capello Club as well, there's going to be pretty much a lot of other car clubs there. I've got a JDM club coming. There's some female clubs, American muscle clubs, and some heritage clubs with old school cars. Now, during the event, Steam Exchange will have their own booth. their own section, their own teaching area, influencers, models and SteamX merchandise, to take photos of all the cars, take photos with people. We're going to have staff there as well, members to teach and help and show people, what SteamX is about, show our vision, and just pretty much all the things that Nev and Chris have been talking about for a while. We're going to bring it to the real world. We're going to have a dedicated how to buy section as well, the iPads with stuff they're teaching people, helping people just sort of understand, because there's definitely going to be people interested on the day, they want to know how to buy, and most people that are coming to these things have no clue how to do that, especially with the whole PancakeSwap thing going. We're going to have a big screen as well, showcasing a trailer for SteamX, something we're going to put together. And event organizers such as myself and the other car club owners, also like the leaders of the car clubs, will be in merchandise, and they'll be able to discuss crypto with people as well, because I've been having meetings with them and teaching them as we go. Now, we're also going to have food trucks. There's going to be police in attendance at the location. They'll have their own spot for their cars, because they've got highway patrol cars that they can show off, so they can have a presence too. We're thinking about getting media involved, so I've been in contact with some media as well. There's going to be a children's section for families, possibly a comedian act as well on a stage, and a DJ for music throughout the event. It's going to be raffles, prizes, and at the moment, I did have a meeting with some managers at Autobahn last week, and they've shown interest in sponsoring the event as well. Autobahn's a big automotive company here in Australia. They sell everything cars, pretty much God, I don't know if you're in Australia, if you're not in Australia, they pretty much sell everything related to cars, from cleaning products to radios to whatever. So they're very big in the car community. So with our current phase 1 plan, what we're rolling out at the moment is we have 2 show cars going in for half car wraps. But half the car will be wrapped on one side, different colors to the car itself, and it's going to have 3D prints of SteamX all over, as well as banners on the front, on the right, on the front windshield, and the back, QR code on the car, and the website pretty much on the left side of the car where the wrap is as well. There's also going to be other cars, probably supercars, and a lot of other high-end race cars, Euro cars, BMWs, AMGs, showcasing banners as well for SteamX. And these cars will be driving around in the meantime before the event as well. So it's going to be a little hype, a lot of interest generated, because we attend a lot of events, a lot of car events every weekend as well. It's all going to be like a group thing, and everyone's always interested in what we do. And they know, most of me and the people around me do crypto, so it's going to be more, out there in their face now. Now, the entire event is going to be filmed, live streamed throughout all of social media accounts, all of our social media accounts, other influencers and people that are there on the day. So everyone's going to be able to tune in and watch it live all over the world. And we're hoping just to, show people something different, show them that we're out there, we're teaching, we're, bringing on new investors, and, we're helping people invest and trade in the right way. Now, the big purpose here isn't just this event itself. Now, this event is going to be big. It's taken a lot of prep time. We've done a lot of legwork to it, and it's still going to require about another 2 months before it is scheduled to be towards the end of July, just before the guys finish off their stuff and release the testnet. So we are going to be talking about that stuff on the day too. But it's a major proof of concept as well. It's going to make a lot of noise in the real world, where people will be able to look at us, even during this market, we are doing this sort of big thing that no one else does, where they can come and learn about crypto. And we hope to turn around on the day and show our stance and our drive to bring crypto people in the real world, and help them trade as well. The big goal as well is future events. We'll be doing events in other countries as well. After we do this event, we're planning, for Canada, United States, Japan, and pretty much any other country that we decide on going and doing an event there, just teeing up and, getting together with big car communities and doing something big for the people, and just bringing people together there as well, and teaching and, going through everything with them there. So when these other events pop up and crypto companies eventually do see what we're doing, it's going to turn into an eventual exhibition style, with car community in mind and crypto, in the background as well, sponsoring the whole thing. It'll bring a lot of interest from other companies, wanting booths within our events, big car companies and like you saw, like Autobahn wanting to, sponsor, and it's all going to be branded under the Steam Exchange banner as a whole, which will give us a lot of brand recognition and sort of get our name out there rather than just the simple stuff that everyone else is doing. For us, we think it's going to be something like really big. It's required a lot of planning, and our current phase 1 will conclude as soon as the cars are done in about a week and a half, and merchandise will be finished as well. And as soon as that's done, I'll be able to put together some videos, some posters, and start setting exact dates, having a look at the weather, just making sure I'm a bit closer to the date, like so about another 1 to 2 weeks, everything should be done, and I'll be able to put together an exact date. So everyone, if you're in Australia, you're definitely excited to meet you all. You can all come down. Hoping the guys from Canada, maybe Neville, might be able to come down at the time, and Veraf as well. But yeah, that's pretty much something that we've been putting together for the past month and a half. It has required a lot of legwork, and I think it's going to be exciting, big, and something no one's seen before. And it's going to be meant to bring it out to the real world and show people what crypto is about, what we're doing, what we're here for, the long haul. We're here to stay. We're here to do things irrespective of the market, and it's the people that come out during these times where no one's sure what's going on, and they still push forward. They're the ones that always end up being successful in the end, because this is a cryptocurrency company. We're here to stay, we're here to make it big, especially with these big events. And I think it'll be really interesting to do these in the future as well in other countries, and just bring people together and create a big teaching platform that's more realistic in your face out in the real world, not just online where you're reading documents and papers. You're just having fun, you with your family. And these sort of events, people are going to want to attend just because it's us running them in the future. But that's pretty much everything I have for today. There will be updates that I'll be giving everyone as we go along. Photos, I'll show the cars soon. I'll show the merchandise. I'll release the influencers as we go through the phases. And I put everything together. It'll be out on our social medias, on Twitter, on Instagram. And yeah, that's pretty much about it. I'll pass it on to Neville just to conclude everything and summarize.
Thank you, Jamal. That was absolutely incredible. Big shout out to Jamal and Vera for putting this together. It's definitely been a long journey. Jamal being on the other side of the world, it's definitely been difficult for us to, align and meet. So, thank you for putting up with that. Just to summarize before we go into Q&A, what Chris mentioned. Chris mentioned that this is a marathon, not a sprint, and we've always had that same sentiment from day one. Even when we announced our first delay, we explained to you that, development is a marathon. It's not a sprint. And we'll continue to say that because that's what it truly is. We're not here for, the quick, in and out. We're not here for 1 year, 2 year, like Chris mentioned. We're here for a long time. We want our platform to withstand the rigors. We want it to go through and be accessible from everywhere in the world. And to accomplish that, it takes time. So with that, let's get into questions. So feel free to raise your hand if you're muted, and if you have questions that you would like to put in the chat instead, just leave them in the chat.
All right, Fred, I'm gonna unmute you. Fred, you're free to talk.
Oh, there we go. Okay. I believe I'm speaking with Peter, am I? Peter, the question I have is when they were talking in regards to the regulatory journey, okay, can you hear me?
Yep, you're loud and clear. You're loud and clear.
Okay. Okay, good. Thank you. Okay, that SteamX is aligning itself with the Ontario Security Commission, and a major aspect is the necessary audits. Okay, at that particular time, October was quickly mentioned for a possible approval. Okay, now is it my understanding that SteamX needs the OSC regulatory approval before the exchange is officially online?
That's a good question.
With that.
Thanks, Pete. So good question. So we did throw the month out there, October. So October was the month that we're targeting to submit our application for. So we're hoping that by October we'll have all of our bugs fixed that were identified during beta. Any bugs that were identified during audit would have been fixed as well, and we're clear to submit our formal application to the OSC. It's kind of a one and done situation with the OSC where once you submit your application, that's it. They can ask you some questions, but there's no changing your application at that point. So we definitely have to make sure that everything in our application and within our ecosystem is at the level of our standards before we submit our formal application.
Okay, very good. And so what you're doing is you're trying your best to align with all regulations beforehand, though.
Right. So we've been developing our ecosystem with those guidelines in mind. So when the time does come to submit our application, we've addressed a lot of those guidelines in our application and through our ecosystem.
Okay, absolutely wonderful, Neville. We're very proud of you guys.
Thank you, sir.
That's all.
Thank you for your questions, Fred.
You're welcome.
So there's a question in the chat regarding website. So yeah, the website is complete. It will go live in the next week for sure. So there was just some changes we made to the website. We added our partnership section, and we're just cleaning up the way the blogs work, and we will upload that for you guys to consume next week.
Okay, there's Sir Digga. I'm gonna unmute you, sir.
Sorry, hi. Basically, just a quick question regarding the beta testing. Would that be device specific testing, or is it all done on via laptops and PCs and stuff?
Yep, good question. So the plan will be across the board. So we're talking about the applications as well to mobile apps, as well as PC as well too. That is at least the immediate plan. Should not then at least at bare minimum it will be PC laptops available for the testing.
Okay, and a further question regarding the devices. Because I develop stuff, as I've said a million times, do you guys have any way to test the different aspect ratios for the devices that you have? Because that's one of the biggest hurdles that we ran into when developing our games.
Yep. Sorry about that. Yeah. So aspect ratio, I can definitely say that aspect ratio is something that is on the testing path. I can't say at this junction. I'd have to obviously go back and confirm every single model, every single make phone. But from the most popular ones, I believe that we've already passed those ones through that ringer. And it's definitely something that will continue to be on the team's mind as we continue to develop and test to make sure that we have everything covered.
Yeah. Okay, cool.
Yeah, and I could definitely understand that question. Yeah.
I mean, if there's if you need any advice in that section, I can help definitely, because I've done it millions of times for loads of submissions. So
Appreciate that. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Chris. So there was a question in the chat saying the only thing that wasn't clear to me, will DEX coin swap be allowed to go live was with testnet and bugs, security audits, testnet and bugs security audits are complete, and will it go live without the SEX? So yes, so that is the plan. The plan is to essentially go put the DEX and the centralized side through the ringer with the community, identify any bugs, resolve all the bugs, send them out for audit. Once the audits come back, any findings from the audits needs to be corrected, and then it will automatically switch to mainnet when we're ready. So there's going to be no further release plan beyond this. What's going to happen is, your app's going to notify you that there's an update. You'll go and do that update, and once the update is complete, you will be on mainnet. So I hope that answered your question. There was another question in the chat. What is a general time scale for the OSC to review and approve an application? That's a tricky question. so the OSC typically runs like most government agencies, and I would say the correct definition is slow. So we may not be anticipating 2022 for the centralized side. Again, we'll never know until we submit our application and we get our first response back. So we'll leave that question for now with that answer. And once we know more on the timelines that we can expect, we'll definitely share that with you.
Okay. So there's another one here, I think from the chat by way of Yank. Are there any changes with planned launch supply of the native coin? So this is something, and we did, the first time we went through this here, we did say it is subject to change, obviously depending on market conditions. So I would say at this junction, definitely stay tuned for more discussions as it pertains to the launch supply of the native coin. Obviously, we'll continue to gauge the market conditions and gauge how everything is. And this is something that is definitely very iterative from an overall plan. So definitely more downstream discussions and presentations to you, our faithful community, on this topic. Thanks for the question, Yank.
All right, so we have some hands up. So Dilnawaz, I'll unlock you, or unmute you rather, not unlock you. Go ahead, you're able to speak.
Hello.
Hey, how are you?
Good evening, sir. Fine. I from India. I support this project. I don't understand English good. Speak Hindi.
I'm sure we can connect you with someone that speaks Hindi if you have some questions to ask on the side. Maybe not during the AMA, but just shoot me a DM and I can connect you with someone that can help you out.
Okay, thank you. Bye.
Not a problem. Take care. So General Fault, your
From
hands up
India.
as well.
From India. I love you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. We love you too. So General Fault, you're next. So I'm going to allow you to speak.
Sorry, I was on mute. Yeah, sorry, I think the question was answered already, but I was going to ask about the decentralized exchange versus the centralized exchange. Like, is the native platform, native coin, are we going to be able to migrate the native coin to the exchange, to the blockchain, to your Rails network? I assume now you talked about how it's not going to be enabled. Sorry, once you go through the testing, I think are you aiming for October for the decentralized exchange? Is that what I understand?
So the decentralized exchange will go live on mainnet once we correct all the issues. So it's safe to say that once we submit our application to the OSC, we will likely flip to mainnet on the decentralized side.
And we guys make a page where we migrate our coins at that time to the DEX.
So we're looking
for the native.
Yep. So that's part of the release plan. So we're looking to integrate that into the Launchpad and Innovation Lab. So we're going to be developing a claim function for the Launchpad. So we utilize the same claim function for your migration.
So are you guys going to have a test version of this page during the testnet?
Yep, there will be. Yeah,
so,
that'll be where
cool.
you'll be.
So we'll be able to test that process sooner than later, right?
Correct. Yeah. So you'll be able to claim, and you should be getting your actual allocation based on the holdings in your wallet.
And one quick question in line with that, is testing open to everyone?
Correct. Testing will be open to everyone.
Okay. And so the centralized exchange now, that looks like it's going to be pushed off a bit, it's fine. But is the centralized exchange the one? Because I thought I heard at some point you guys are doing like a beta test with like a certain key persons in the community, or is it just open up to everybody for beta testing when the time comes?
Yes. Good question. So the direction did change on that. We always say things are subject to change. So that's one of them. So initially we were going to do a closed beta with select individuals from the community based on a forum or some other function. But now we decided that it's probably best for us and the community to do an open beta where everyone can take part, especially for identifying the bugs. Correct. Yeah.
Right. Okay, cool. That's all I got. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
And hi, Fred. Thanks, everyone. Good job, by the way.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you. So Steven asked, it's actually a really good question regarding, I mentioned earlier in the chat that, if Steam Exchange were to ever partner with somebody, they would have to align with our ethos. So part of that is our, both on an individual level for each of us and also as an organization. So as you know, like last year during Christmas time, we did Extra Life for sick kids. Where we all gamed, or some of us gamed for 24 hours straight. We raised some funds and we donated those funds to the Toronto Sick Kids Hospital as part of the Children's Miracle Network. So that was on an individual level, right? So that's an example of something that we like to do as people is to donate to a cause. So we would like our partner, whoever we do partner with in the future, to also align with that ethos, where it's not just about the money that we can make or that we can intake. It's also about what we can do for people. I'm not going to touch too much on it, but that's kind of what I meant by aligns with our ethos on an individual and organizational level.
All right, we have another one from the chat here. Will the decentralized, will the DEX be multi-chain? The quick and dirty answer to that one will be yes, it will. We do have a multi-chain integration built into our decentralized side of the ball.
Yeah, and there was another question that was asked as well in the chat. So do we claim both Testcoins as well as the native coin, or do we test with the actual native coin? So during testnet, you'll receive your exact allocations based on your holding at the time, but it will be in testnet, so those won't have any actual monetary value, but it will allow you to test the ecosystem, use all of our functions and features, and then when the time comes to flip to native coin, everything will be reset one more time, and you will be asked to claim again for your actual allocation.
All right, do we have any more questions in the chat? Anyone hands up? And if anyone's not comfortable with speaking in the chat or live here with us on voice, feel free to drop your questions in the main chat.
So there was a question from Mike. Will the beta testing require actual money? The answer is no. So we would never ask you to put any fund into an ecosystem that is in beta. We feel that's extremely irresponsible. So you're going to be using testnet currency and using testnet as the main core backbone of the ecosystem at that time.
All right, I think there was a question with regards to how long the testing is going to last, and we did allude to the fact that obviously we need to clear the appropriate, the beta testing along with the appropriate audits. And from an environment perspective, keep in mind that it is what you're testing today. And once you do get the fixes, will be the same environment. So right now we're looking for the testing to at least go out to that October timeframe, September timeframe, which potentially we could flip it over to mainnet in around the October timeframe. To answer your question, any time between once we release based on the plan which we showed, up until that September timeframe, the testing would go.
Okay, I see Fred has his hands up again. I'm just going to allow you to speak, my man. Go ahead, Fred. Hey, Fred, did you have another question? You're unmuted.
There we go. Okay,
There,
thank you. Now, with the testing that's going to be taking place, how is the community going to be informed as to when this is going to be taking place, and how can they get involved? Myself, I spend a lot of time on Telegram, so I rely a great deal on the input from that channel. Okay, so basically, the question is, you've got a lot of testing coming up. How are the steamers themselves going to be informed on this?
Yep. So great question. We will definitely continue, and I believe, like you're like yourself, a lot of people do rely on Telegram to receive their updates as well as the AMAs and stuff like that, right? So we will continue to leverage the appropriate channels that we have in place today, whether it be Twitter, Telegram, so on and so forth, to kind of get that message out there firmly that this is going to be open for testing as of XYZ date. So our recommendation to everyone here on this call with us would be to stay tuned to Telegram, and we'll continue to triage the updates accordingly.
Very good. Thank you very much.
No, thank you. Great question. All right. We probably have time for another question or so, and then we could wrap up today's session. So there is another question with regards to the supply again. If anyone does recall again, we did have a presentation a couple months back on the supply, and we did note that it is subject to change based on market conditions and stuff. And we definitely continue to revise the plan and review. It is definitely a very iterative process. So keep your eyes and ears peeled, as we will definitely be having more downstream discussions as it pertains to the total supply.
And let's make this the last question for the day. Are there projects already in line for Launchpad release? So yes, there are projects reaching out to us with interest. I guess the ones I reached out earlier are probably no longer interested because we're here and they've already launched. But there are projects that have reached out more recently that will invite to apply for the Innovation Lab or the Launchpad as soon as we launch the beta. So definitely stay tuned for that. And with that, I think we can wrap it up. Thank you everyone for joining. We appreciate you all. Again, thank you for your resilience. Without you guys, this would not be where it is. So we definitely appreciate you.
Likewise, I echo that full-heartedly. We're called Steam Team for a reason, right? So appreciate you guys and everything that you guys do. Thank you again for taking your time out your busy day to join us, and we'll be in touch. Cheers and have a great day.
Thank you.